Taking an Access module can really help you with your studies at the Open University. Whatever stage you're at on your learning journey, the Open University is open to everyone, and you have a lot of choice about how you start your studies and what paths you take. To give them the best chance of success, many people decide to start their journey by taking an Access module. These flexible and accessible courses will equip you with the skills, confidence and resilience that can make a big difference to your experience later on. You can choose one of 3 Access modules. Each of them covers a wide range of fascinating topics and introduces new ways of looking at the world. Taking an Access module will also help you become a more confident learner. Everything from managing your time and using a computer to learn, to reading, writing and numeracy skills, and understanding how assessment works. We know that equipping yourself properly and putting in some extra preparation before you start will give you the best chance of enjoying your studies and achieving success at the Open University and beyond.
My name is David Marshall and I'm going to take you through GST107. GST107. Now this course is titled GST107, a study guide for the distance learner. GST107, a study guide for the distance learner. Actually, this course is, what this course is all about is that actually it's a guide. It's a guide. It aims to guide you on how to approach your study as a distance learner. National Open University is actually a distance learning institute. In the sense, what that means is, you're actually you're an independent student. You read from home. You read from home. Once it's time for exam, that's actually when you go to the school to write your exam. So you study from home. You receive lecture from home. So you are actually a distance learner. So a distance learner is actually an independent learner. So there are some things you need to be able to do by yourself. There are some things you need to know in order to be effective in your study as a distance learner. So that is what this GST107 course is all about. It exposes you to the rudiments and the skills that are required of you as a distance learner, as a distance learning student. So if you check Module 1, Unit 1, you will see that it began by explaining what distance learning is all about. Introduction to open and distant learning. Introduction to open and distant learning. It began with history of the open distant learning system. Unit 1. So there are some key things you need to pick out from that Unit 1. I believe you may have read it. There are some key things you need to pick out from that Unit 1 for exam. Unit 1, page 9. Unit 1, page 9. And the first key point you need to pick out there for exam, and you need to pick out from there and understand. First thing you need to pick out and get familiar with is the definition. The definition of open and distance learning. The definition of open and distance learning. That's the first thing you need to pick out and understand here for exam. Now it says the term open and distance learning is made up of two different concepts in education, namely distance education and open learning. While distance education has been around for quite a long time, as you would soon discover, open learning is a more recent phenomenon. You have to understand there has been no consensus definition of the twin term, but for the purpose of this course, we will make do with the definition from Commonwealth of Learning. Now, what does that mean? It means open and distant learning is actually, it's made up of two words, two things: distance education and open learning. Distance education and open learning. Distance education is, when you enroll, you enroll for a course, and your school is far away from you. You only go there when it's time to write exam or when it's time to do, one or two things. You are studying, at a distance. You're studying at a distance, and that is actually distant learning. Now, the open there, why it is actually open learning is because it is open to everyone. It is open to everyone. For example, you don't need, jump. And another example is that, there's no restriction like in conventional university where there's age restriction, where there is, where you have to come to the school to get, all you need. It's open, it's also open in the sense that all the course material that you need, you can get it online, you can get it on a platform that is created by the school. So it's actually open learning. It's actually open to everyone. It's not like conventional university that is closed. It's restricted. The resources that you need, like books and all that, you can easily get it, online. So it's an open, it's an open learning. Also, it's a distance education because your study centers they are far from you, even if you are close to your study centers. However, you don't go there to receive lecture, or you don't go there every time. You only go there when it's time for you to, write your exam or even graduate. There are cases whereby you can write your exam, from, at the comfort of your home, where you can write your exam at home. You don't have to go to the study center to write your exam. Your test, which is your TMA, you do it at home. So it's actually an open and distant learning. Actually open and distant learning. So that's just, some instances, or examples of open and distant learning. National Open University is actually an open and distant learning institute, and you are also a distant learner. You're also a distant learning student. So there are some things you need to get familiar with. There are some things you need to familiarize yourself with so that you can be able to cope. Now, moving on to that, still on that unit 1. First thing you need to pick out from there from that unit for exam is the definition given by Commonwealth of Learning. They define open and distant learning as a system of teaching and learning characterized by separation of teacher and learner in time and or in space, and uses multiple media for delivery of instruction. It also involves two-way communication and occasional face-to-face meeting for tutorials and learner-to-learner interaction. Yes, that is the definition of open and distant learning. That is the definition of open and distant learning. I will explain what it, I'll explain the key words there, but pick it out and write it in your notes That's one of the key key exam questions you'll be seeing in exam. They may ask you dash, can be defined as so. If you don't know this key, if you don't know the full definition, you may not be able to um, remember or identify the keywords that should make up the answer. So it says open and distant learning can be defined as a system of teaching and learning characterized by separation of teacher and learner. What does that mean? It means open and distant learning is a system of education where the student and the teachers are actually the tutors or the lecturers or facilitators, where they don't come together like in conventional university. They are separated. The teacher can be can be anywhere. It can be it can be at the study center, where he's able to use the computer to communicate with National Open University students wherever they are in the state, while the students are also in their houses or in their office, receiving online lectures or interacting with him. So that is actually what it means by distance learning is a system of teaching and learning characterized by separation of teacher and learner in time and or in space and uses multiple media for delivery of instruction. So you can see they are separated in time and in space. In time means is not you don't have to come online to receive lecture when the teacher or when the tutor is actually lecturing, is actually tutoring. You can decide to come online anytime you are less busy, and you can play the the lecture and listen to it, or you watch whatever it is. So you are separated in time. He may be lecturing now, and you are busy at work, and by the time you are done at work and you get home, and it's when you are done refreshing yourself, then you can come online and play whatever lecture that he left behind. So that is what that separation of teacher and learner in time means. That is what it means. Now, or space, separation of teacher and learner in time and or in space. That space means you are not in the same location where the tutor is. You are in your house, the tutor is in his house, or is even in the study center, a place that is meant for that a place that is actually dedicated to tutors, where they can sit down and they're given the computer, the computer they can use to engage with the students online. So that is what it means by separation in space. I've already explained separation in time. So that is I've just explained separation in space. And then again it says, and uses multiple media for delivery of instruction. Multiple media means audio. Your tutor can use audio to deliver his lecture. He can use video. He can use chatting. He can use real time. He can use text, audio. He can use video. So those are multiple, that's actually the meaning of uses multiple media for delivery of instruction. National Open University, as an open and distant learning institute, uses multiple media to deliver instruction to students based on their courses. We use audio, we use video, we use tests. tests are PDF, PDF books, PDF files, like your course material that you can download from the website. So those are actually multiple media for delivery of instruction. So that is what that definition is all about. Now moving on, it also says it also involves two-way communication and occasional face-to-face meeting for tutorials and learner-to-learner interaction. Two-way communication means they can interact online. It's a two-way communication. An occasional face-to-face meeting for tutorials and learner-to-learner instruction. It means from time to time you can go to the study center and receive tutorials if you have the time. That is what it means by occasional face-to-face meeting for tutorials and learner-to-learner interaction. So that is what that definition is all about. I had to take my time to explain it because the questions are always twisted in exam. Some things they will ask you and they will list some. Okay, for example, all these characteristics of open and distant learning. They may list it and tell you one of these is not among the characteristics of open and distant learning. So if you did not understand the keywords, the key characteristics that are there, as I've explained it, there's no way you'll be able to identify the correct answer. So pick out and write out the characteristics of open and distant learning as the second key point from that unit 1. Now this is GST 107.